Fascinating guest on the show today. We've got a really interesting guest who's going to give us an insight into encouraging people in their 40s and over to take extra measures to improve their physical health in later life. So let's get some insight in terms of what we can do. So Dr. ZOE WILLIAMS, on the show, great to have you on board.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really want to thank you for coming on board. It's sort of really interesting in terms of sort of, keeping active. So why would you say it's so important to keep active over 40?
Well, I mean, it's really important to be active whatever age we are, but for those of us, me included, who are over 40, sometimes perhaps it's something that we don't prioritise, and it's an incredibly important time in our lives when we've already started to lose some of our muscle. We start to lose our muscle from our 30s. Our bodies don't repair quite as well, and we are more prone to injuries as we get older as well. But, the good news is that we can do things to reduce the risks of that. And there was a recent survey done by Enora, which actually found that whilst 2/3 of people in their 40s did say that they were feeling more discomfort as they were getting older, 40% actually said that they were planning to and wanting to make changes to their lifestyle to better suit their age. So, it does seem that many people want to take measures to improve their health and protect their health, but also people are already starting to feel those niggles that tend to come with as we get a bit older.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess our listeners are wondering why we become more prone to injury. What happens to our body to make us more prone to injury?
Yeah, well, as we get older, we lose a lot of the suppleness. So our tendons and ligaments and soft tissues, they're just not as malleable and flexible as they used to be. So that's one of the reasons we're more likely to have injury. Because we're losing muscle mass, so we're losing strength, that can make us more likely to have injuries as well. And actually, we also start to find deterioration in our balance, so it can make us more likely to fall. And we know that especially women, when they go beyond the menopause transition, then osteoporosis and weaker bones puts them at significantly higher risk of fractures if they do fall as well. So, we can, it's really important that we do take measures to safeguard our health against these potential injuries and also against the really common issue of pain and discomfort as we get older.
Absolutely. And how simple can exercise be? I mean, what are your thoughts around exercise?
I mean, the thoughts are is that anything counts. So, even the word exercise, I think, can put people off. I tend to go with physical activity. So that incorporates, it does incorporate things like running and going to the gym, but those aren't the only options. Walking counts, and a lot of people utilise walking as their method of activity. And I encourage people just to challenge the body a little bit by trying to walk a bit faster or choose a route that's got hills or even walking on uneven ground. All of these things just challenge the body. But also doing exercise or activity at home. So some of the things that count would be dancing around your kitchen or, doing the cleaning, but doing it a bit more vigorously so you get a bit of a sweat on, and playing with children and grandchildren, gardening. All of these things count, as well as doing things like squats whilst you're watching the adverts on TV, or even doing some push-ups on a bench in the kitchen when you wait for the kettle to boil. These little things that you can incorporate into your normal daily routine, they all add up and make a difference.
No, definitely, absolutely. I think that's some great suggestions there. And I think the walking one's a great one too. It's sort of, I went for a walk early this morning, and it's great, not just physically but mentally too. You just clear your head and you get out there, and today's a nice day, to be fair. So yeah, I think it sort of makes sense for sure. And what measures, if any, can people take in adapting their homes? I mean, obviously not everyone's going to put a state-of-the-art gym at home or swimming pool, but I think we'd all like one of those. But what can you do that's sort of practical?
Practical things at home, yeah. So I think even, people generally are aware of exercise, and even if you're exercising, many of us then do sit down for many hours of the day. So thinking about your sitting environment, whether you're working from home or whether it is that you're, spending leisure time, thinking about your posture. So trying to sit with a straight back and a straight neck, have your laptop at a level, it should be at eye level, so you're not slouching. But then also utilising medical aids and devices as well. So Enora, who have done this research that we've mentioned, they're experts in developing air-powered cushions. They've actually supplied mattresses to the NHS for over 25 years. So typically in hospitals, those air-filled mattresses that people may be led on, they can make cushions out of the same material, and they're really helpful if you are sitting, like I am right now, for example, on a dining room chair, chair rather than a proper office chair. They help to distribute your weight evenly, alleviate pressure, and good for comfort as well. So thinking about your position, breaking up sitting regularly, and then also considering any specialist devices that might help you too.
Absolutely, and it's interesting you say. I mean, I think at least when I sort of reflect back, back in the day, you didn't really notice certain things at a certain age. But as you get a bit older, if you sit in a certain way for a long time or sleep in a certain way, you do feel it more. So for sure, and I think absolutely, it's sort of really important to sort of keep active. But where can people find out more information, if possible, please?
Yeah, if people are thinking about getting started with physical activity, then there's the Better Health website from the NHS. There's loads of resources and suggestions on there. I always say just check out some videos on YouTube, like yoga, Pilates, but the NHS does have some videos on this as well. And if people want to find out more about the air-powered cushion that I mentioned, that's enoracare.com is their website.
Absolutely, I'll check it out myself. So, you've given me hope, Dr. ZOE Williams. I can keep going. So I'm sure a lot of listeners are sort of tuned in thinking, it's sort of practically, and, sort of like, I think the key message for me, having spoken, is sort of adapting. That's sort of a key. I certainly can't do what I could do physically like 20, 30 years ago, but I can still do, adapt and that sort of stuff, really. But thanks for your time. That was always really interesting, informative. I'll definitely check it out myself, and have a fantastic day. Thank you.
And you. Thanks so much.